What is up, children? I'm Jay Law. Did you miss me? Because it's kind of hard not to miss me. I said that I was going to talk about college hoops, and I'm going to, as you can see by the board behind me. But I thought that since something kind of big happened earlier today, I'd talk about that first. I'm of course talking about Peyton Manning. In case you didn't know, he signed with the Denver Broncos. I can almost hear Denver screaming from here. And that's mostly because my best friend is a Denver Broncos fan. I don't know what's wrong with him either. But I feel that Peyton did not make the right choice for him. And the reason is because I don't see how Denver has the team around Peyton that's going to make them into an instant winner. The way that the Broncos played last year with Tim Tebow as quarterback was a very weird offense, a very college offense, and almost kind of, basically an option offense. And now you're going to go to Peyton Manning, who's a pocket passer, who is not mobile, and he's been injured, so it's a question of how much is he going to be hit. And I don't see Denver having a good enough wide receiving core. Your running backs are beat up. And I will give Denver the fact that they do have a pretty good defense. But I just don't see how Peyton coming in is going to make them into a Super Bowl team. Playoffs, yes. They play in a weaker division. But I'm not going to just come out here and say, Peyton is taking Denver to the Super Bowl. I don't think so. I think he probably should have went to the 49ers. They've got the best wide receiving core. They've got Frank Gore. They've got a really good defense. Peyton steps in there, and I honestly would have picked San Francisco to win the championship. I also thought that the Arizona Cardinals would have been a good fit for him. But seeing that, I don't even think they were in the running. So, it doesn't surprise me he didn't pick them. But now the question is, what do you do with Tim Tebow? Anyone that you trade him to is going to have to make a commitment to run an option-type offense. And I see no other NFL teams that run an offense like that. So I think it's actually going to be harder than what they think to trade Tim Tebow. And it's also going to be hard even if you have him as a backup, because whichever quarterback you have, you're going to have to run a special offense for Tim Tebow. So we'll see what happens with that. But now, let's get down to business. It's March Madness. First off, first matchup in the Sweet 16 is going to be Kentucky and Indiana. And even though Indiana has done great this year and has shown that they are back in terms of basketball prowess, I don't see them beating Kentucky. Marcus Teague has really played well, showed that he's not a weak point for Kentucky. And you've got Anthony Davis, so, come on. We're going with the Cats. Next up is Baylor and Xavier. 2 words for you. Brady Heaslip. Baylor's got a good offense. I don't see Xavier being able to pull this one out. We're going with the Bears. Next, Michigan State. Facing off against Louisville. Rick Pitino, I respect you a lot, but 2 words for you. Draymond Green. Enough said. Tom to the Izzo, getting Michigan State to the Elite Eight. Next up, Marquette versus Florida. Now, Marquette's been one of those teams where I didn't really believe in them much during the season, but they've played well so far, and I didn't believe in Florida either. During the regular season, their defense was not very good, but they've been winning because of their defense. Their defense has really stepped up, and I think it's going to hold on for at least one more game. I don't see Marquette having enough offensive power to beat Florida's overachieving defense at the moment, so we'll go with the Gators for now. Let's go on to the other side of the bracket. Syracuse and Wisconsin. Now, I don't really like Syracuse. I don't think that even though they've won 32 games, I think they're 32-2 or 33-2. They run that zone. They're very athletic, but they've got a lot of holes. They really rely on their defense to feed their offense to get them out there. And Wisconsin, they don't turn the ball over. So it's going to be hard for them to have that transition defense. Plus, Wisconsin shoots a lot of threes and makes a lot of threes, meaning that they can beat that zone that Jim Boeheim has built there and has kept for many years. But I don't see Wisconsin being able to keep up with the athleticism. I do think that zone's going to work just enough, and I think Syracuse, in a very close game, is going to win this one. Next one, we're going with Ohio State and Cincinnati. Part of that big Ohio love fest here. Now, we're guaranteed to have at least one Ohio team in the Elite Eight, and I don't think that's going to be Cincinnati. Ohio State, when Kraft is playing well and Deshaun Thomas is shooting the ball well, and if we get William Buford to actually play good for this game, I don't think we're going to need William Buford. I think with Sullinger, Kraft, and Thomas, it's going to be good enough. Buckeyes in the Elite Eight. Next, we've got North Carolina versus Ohio. Ohio University, the Bobcats. If I had a Bobcat shirt, I'd be wearing it right now. But I don't. They have been a great story. They've really overachieved. But I don't see them beating North Carolina. Even if Kendall Marshall does not play, which from the sounds of it, he might not play, I still think that North Carolina is going to have enough to beat Ohio. So I'm going with UNC. Last, we've got Kansas and North Carolina State. Now, I've just got this gut feeling. I really have nothing to back this up on. Kansas has Thomas Robinson, who's really been playing good, and North Carolina was like the last team in the tournament, but they're still here. And I just can't pick Kansas. I haven't believed in them. They almost lose to Purdue, and I just think that at least for one more game, North Carolina State's magical run is going to keep them in this tournament. I'm picking upset. North Carolina State. Gotta love it. Going back over here, Elite Eight. Kentucky, Baylor. Baylor's offense is going to meet arguably the best defense in the tournament, in the nation. And I just don't see how Baylor is going to be able. They don't have a very good inside presence. And even if whoever they've got in center right there, you're going to be matched up against Anthony Davis. We're going Kentucky. Final Four. John Calipari's getting it done this year. Next up, Michigan State and Florida. Once again, I said that Florida's defense has really been overachieving, and this is where it stops. 2 words, Florida. Draymond Green. Get out of here, son. Back on this side, Syracuse and Ohio State. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think that Ohio State can shoot the long ball. They shoot a lot of threes. When their shooting's good, they're almost unbeatable. Plus, you've got Jared Sullinger on the inside. So I think that they're going to be able to spread out that zone, and then Sullinger is going to be able to beat them up inside. I truly believe that Ohio State is going to the Final Four. Not just because I'm wearing an Ohio State shirt. Look at the facts here, kids. Next one. UNC and NC State. That would be a fun game right there. Big rivalry between them. And I understand that NC State has had a magical run, but it's going to end here. UNC is going to get it done. Let's come on there. There we go. And there is your Final Four. Now, first matchup. Kentucky, Michigan State. Why pick against them? I've been picking for them this entire time. I don't see Michigan State, even Draymond Green, is not going to be able to beat the defense of the Wildcats. OSU, UNC. This is where I think the injury to Kendall Marshall can hurt him. If he's still not back by the time they face OSU, I don't think they have a chance. I don't think UNC should have been a number 1 seed personally, but I'm not on the committee, so I think Ohio State's going to get it done, and we're going to make a national championship appearance. Now, this would be a great game. With Ohio State's ability to shoot the ball, Jared Sullinger versus Anthony Davis, I think that would be great. You've got Thad Matta versus John Calipari. Great game. I think that would be good for the ratings, good for everybody. And it pains me to say this, but I just don't think that Ohio State is going to have enough firepower to beat the Wildcats. I think that with the way Ohio State plays, and unfortunately we've seen during the regular season, that sometimes when one of our players has a bad night, our entire team has a bad night. And I think for that reason, I am choosing the University of Kentucky to win the national championship. Now, I may be wrong on some of these, and I hope that I am, because I really want Ohio State to win. I'm a tortured sports fan. I never win. Just please, let me be wrong this one time. Give me a win. I need it. I need it bad. Thanks for watching. I am J Law. You can follow me on Twitter. You should be on the screen. You can also email me. Also should be on the screen. You folks have a good night.